Steve, thanks for doing the Bart Show.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
You looked at my book and you're like, rich and happy. I like that.
Well, as my father liked to say, he said, money may not buy happiness, but it sure helps.
I believe that is the first line to the next of the book. Is like, money can't buy happiness, but you can pull up a boat next to it? Like, he's like, oh, this is okay. You probably know more wealthy people than anyone I've ever met because you ran Forbes magazines for many, many years, right?
We still do our Forbes rich list each year.
Oh.
Billionaires.
How many of those are in your phone? Can you text? All of them.
Well, when I was running for president, suddenly they wouldn't answer my calls.
Oh, no. You got on their bad list. Tell me, my whole life, I grew up middle class. My dad was in a one-bedroom. He's very poor. What makes them special? Like, is there any definition or anything you've seen of talking to all these wealthy people that make them unique? Are they lucky?
It's a whole variety. Most of the people on our rich list are self-made, seeing an opportunity, doing something that met the needs of people. I mean, Jeff Bezos, where did he come from?
He solved a problem.
And we couldn't have survived the lockdowns without him.
It's true.
And so the fact he has a big yacht, I don't care. I like the convenience of Amazon, as does tens of millions, hundreds of millions of other people. So as long as we like what somebody is offering, what do you care what they're doing? If they do well, great, as long as you have a chance to do well.
Is it that simple? Provide a service people love, and all of a sudden you get elevated financially?
If people like it, and you know how to run a business, or get people who know how to run a business, easier said than done. Otherwise, it would be the Forbes 40 million.
Now, you ran a magazine and still do. That had to be an interesting journey watching the magazine disappear off the shelves. Was that difficult for you?
Well, one of the things you learn is that the world does not stay the same. Peter Drucker, the late great management guru, liked to say every organization should ask itself, what is your purpose? What is your mission? What is it you are trying to achieve? And if you ask that question, if the means to achieve it change, you get less hung up on it. But too often we get hung up on the means and forget the goal. So when the internet came along, blew away everything we had learned. And there's no book about how you cope with the internet. You have to do it yourself. So you make mistakes, but you try to come up with new ways of doing it. And that's what we did. Early on, we realized you don't just take content from the magazine. You take out outsiders. We have about 2,500 contracted contributors for Forbes.com. So in the magazine days, we'd run, 1,000, 1,200 articles a year. Mm-hmm. We run 100, 120,000 pieces online each year.
I had no idea. So you've actually expanded when everybody else shut down.
Again, trying to provide that service, trying to come up with products that meet the needs of people. And one of the things the internet did was relentlessly commoditize. You just couldn't have a name. You had to provide something.
Right.
And so that's what we continue to try to do. Who knows what AI is going to do? But we're trying to remember what our goal is to enable people to move ahead in life.
Do you know your mission statement off the top of your head for personally and or corporation, and does that still drive you?
Yes, enabling people to achieve success, both in business and in their personal lives.
Can I steal that? That feels like my journey so far.
Well, there are no patents on what I'm saying now, so you're free.
I don't have 120,000 writers to back that up. I'm just me. Well, a friend of mine goes, you should get AI to read your book. And I was like, they're buying me. Am I going to get AI? I'll take the 18 hours to read it in the Audible. My God. Do you have any books out? I mean, you must have such a plethora and a fabric of experience.
Well, we have a book out called Inflation, What It Is, Why It's Bad, and How to Fix It. First came out 3 years ago when this thing was just beginning. We saw two co-authors and I saw the disaster coming. So in a week, we have the paperback version coming out, updated, new figures, and also a great new foreword, preface. Excellent. So that comes out July 16th. And so, yes, I'm still out there pitching, still out there agitating.
Well, I think books are unfortunately not as read as I thought. When my first book came out in 1983, I went to all the bookstores, and I thought everyone in the world knew who Tony Robbins was, because at the time he had infomercials. 1 out of 10 people even knew who his name was, and I was writing a self-help book, and I was 23 years old. And then I realized only 1 out of 100 of those finishes a book. So very few people even read books, but our listeners go buy his book. Can you give us the name again?
The what?
The name of the book again?
It's Inflation, what it is, why it's bad, and how to fix it.
All right, I want to go buy it.
And thank you very much. And the thing about it is that it's amazing, after 4,000 years, politicians, policymakers, economists still treat inflation like doctors used to treat patients 200 years ago.
The symptoms, not the cause?
Yes, and so they bled the patient. And, of course, got rid of the patient's suffering because it got rid of the patient. One of the points we make in the book is that rising prices are a symptom of trashing your currency, symptom of blocking people from doing productive things.
That's the entire philosophy of Eastern medicine. Have you ever had a Chinese medicine doctor give you tea or anything? It's amazing. But they're like, hey, symptoms are for Western doctors. What's the problem? They give you herbs, you drink it, and you're like, wow, why couldn't my Western doctor do that? Because like we're helping the system. And for Chinese medicine, it's like stomach and heart. And I was like, why didn't they tell me that? That's the second place I go. Western doctor, then Eastern doctor.
Well, you want to get all the information you can, because you only have one life. So treat it well.
You're doing well. You're going to live to be 120 and keep coming back if I keep this show going?
Well, if you're 120, you're younger than me. So when I'm 120, you'll be about 85. So
Steve Forbes, everybody.
So if you write a book on how to live to 120, I'll buy it.
My grandmother was 96. My girlfriend's like, you're not dying at 110. You're going to 130. I'm like, that's good thinking. I think she's being selfish. She just wants me to hang around.
Good. But one of the things, by the way, that we got to overcome is that even though there are more of us living into the 80s, more people living in the 90s, more people reaching the centennial, what we don't have is getting beyond the age of 110.
Very rarely.
Very rarely. That has not improved.
You think it will with the replacement of 3D hearts?
That's what we're hoping for, that replacing a heart will be no more a big deal than replacing a tire.
You know, I'd love that because I'd like to resume drinking. And so if I could, have a new liver, then I could just keep that bad habit up. Is that a bad idea?
Well, again, it's each to their own. Depends what you're drinking. Make sure your girlfriend doesn't put stuff in it that you're not supposed to have.
Well, if I behave myself in Vegas, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, discussing longevity here is a dicey topic.
My grandmother, 96, I'm not sure. My dad is 84 and he's got his full mind, but I'm not sure I want to live to be 120 if I don't have all my faculties. So that's what I'm more concerned about, is people's mental health in the 80s and 90s. Physically, I think we can get there.
Yeah, and one of the things that's happened is that research on dementia has been in a rut for 50 years. They're looking again at symptoms, plaques, and tangles, and not at the cause. And Dr. Alzheimer warned against that when he first diagnosed the disease in the early 1900s. Don't confuse symptoms with causes.
Do you have any idea how they're going to cure it at this point? You got any secret companies I can invest in?
Not yet. And looking, though, because I want to get on the Forbes 400.
You're not on the Forbes 400?
No, not yet.
You publish it. Just slip your name in there, Steve. No one's going to stop you.
No, but still doesn't fill my bank account.
All right. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you.
It's just great opportunity to hang out with you, buddy.
How to Live to be 120.
That's my next book.
Good. When's it coming out? 50 years?
Yep. When I've solved the problem.